So if we were to cast you in broadest terms in Genevieve, would you see yourself as John Gregson, possibly, or Kenneth Moore? You've had experience of riding this, but I'm just wondering, I mean, the actual speed across ground for both machines is going to be roughly the same, isn't it?
Uphill or downhill?
Yeah.
Very much.
No, he's got no chance. Unless I break down.
Well,
I was figuring out last night. I reckon this thing revs to about 1500 RPM,
Right.
and its cruising speed is somewhere around about 25 to 35 mile an hour. So I reckon you've got about 500 RPM per 10 mile an hour.
Right.
That's, you know, the numbers in inverted commas,
Yeah.
you know, it's always used to without the.
But you've got to stop, you've got to decompress, you've got to get off the blooming thing, you've got to fiddle around at every single junction.
Oh yeah.
Whereas he's the cyclist, you know, no one's got it, no number plate, gone.
Hey, my ambition, when you read the instructions, it says, don't forget there's 20 mile an hour speed limit in most of London.
Oh God, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
so my ambition is to get a speeding offence, you know, on a 1902 motorbike.
6:45 we start.
Yeah, and we're away at 7, I think.
No, the cars are at 7. The first motorcycle departs at 6:45.
6:45.
So read into that. We could start at the same time, or they might give us a bit of a head start.
Yeah, no, I think they send the bikes off first, actually.
What, the bicycles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bicycle.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you any idea how many bicycles there are?
19.
Okay.
19 and
Two bikes. Two motorbikes.
2 motorcycles.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that the Raleigh collection has been at Brooklands for time immemorial. I mean, right away back to Alan Wynn's days, and we've got all the what was the Raleigh collection. So when we started on this, there's a 1901 Raleigh bike. So
Yeah.
I said, oh, we'll get that. That won't be a big problem.
Yeah.
After about a month, I'm now on email terms with the managing director and the marketing director of Raleigh, and they said, first off, he said, yeah, you can have the bike, you know, no problem. And then 2 days later, he came back and said, I was a bit premature in that, because this is a very unique bike.
Yeah.
He said, I'll find you something else. And he said, I'll come back in a week. And a week later, he said, you can use it because I can't find anything else. The bike it's 1901,
Yep.
and for its age is incredibly advanced in the fact it's got cable brakes, back and front. It's got, well, you'll see it, but it hasn't got the conventional frame. It's got a crossover frame with the steering head between the cross, not above. You see
okay.
that with the forks
Yeah,
down
yeah.
like that.
I'll dig out a photo. I'm just looking for a photograph.
Yeah. Well, you see it downstairs. It's also got suspension in the handlebars.
Is it really?
We need to
Oh,
talk about
get
that.
you.
It's going to make all the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And it was aimed at being sort of unisex in the fact that the crossbar is not.
I think you'll find there's probably an acronym for that these days.
The understanding was that they wanted it returning to its original condition, you know, the knackered tyres and all the rest of it on it. So what we've done is Phil bought a 1930s bike because the
1930s Raleigh.
the wheel profile needs to be for pull brakes into the wheel as opposed to the.
I've got an old roadster like that.
Yeah,
They're
you know.
quite difficult to get.
So we got that.
Yeah.
We've not been, and we had to replace the inners of the cables because the
Yeah.
outers were okay, but and it turned out we couldn't do. You'll see on the front end, we couldn't do the front brake, so we've actually put a temporary rod brake on it, but we can forget that as a thing to get round it. New tyres and tubes. With Woods valves, if to keep the period, you know, the full Monty.
Yeah.
And then at the final thing after, brake blocks, non-standard brake blocks.
Yeah.
So I had to, with a lot of work, found a guy in Cardiff who's got a abrasive rubber, which is non-metallic. right?
Okay.
So it's got Kevlar in it. We get all this done,
Get
you know,
Huey
manufactured the brake blocks, and you'll see they're all very non-standard and everything. And then I get this Bob French, who looks after the bikes here. He said that the final twist is that all bike chain is 1/8 pitch.
Right.
This is 3/16.
Oh, God.
And what I've also learned is that it was only by about 1910 that Raleigh and the cycle industry, if I can call it that, actually standardised on stuff.
Oh, I see. So it's probably got quite a lot of different bearings and so on.
Well, it took me a week to get the back sprocket off it. Anyway, when we got it off, it is a modern standard. So what we had to do was buy two 18-tooth sprockets and weld them together and turn them down in the layers to get 3/16.
It's a thing, but wow. What?
But that was with one of your mates, Huey, wasn't it?
Huey welded
Yeah,
together
so
for us.
ex-McLaren.
Ex-McLaren, Huey.
So my sprocket is manufactured by an ex-McLaren engineer.
Brilliant.
I like that a lot.
I think, was he part of Bruce McLaren's race crew?
Huey was crew chief for the Indy McLaren. He was testing with him on the Sunday. He flew back to the UK and was killed on the Monday.
So I suppose it just is a reflection of the network that's been mobilised in order to make what you're going to see today and what's going to happen in November.
I'm always amazed just what resources
incredible.
this place can lay its hands on.
It's just there's a little community, isn't it, that just gets mobilised in order to make this work. And that kind of runs through the kind of the prep work to get the motorbike and the bicycle there. It's also about the conversations we're having now about filming and all the rest of it, and then it's also about the support that's going to be happening on the day as well. I mean, that's been a logistics.
Because you see,
do you have scrutineering?
Not on the day, but for the bicycle, we had to get the frame number off the bike in order to get it verified by a rally specialist. And so I had to come to the museum, work out where the frame number was on the bike, and of course it was fixed to the shelf there. So that was all a bit odd, someone coming in trying to work out where it is, photograph it, and then fingers crossed that the label that was on the bike, which I'll send you the picture, actually correlated with the actual bike itself.
Oh, I see.
So until we had that kind of little certification of authenticity.
So 122 years later, you've got to kind of say, yes, this is the frame
is
that went with the bike.
This is actually genuine 1901 because you don't know until you get it properly dated. In order to participate in the run, you have to have it properly dated.
Wow.
Carbon fibre impregnated
what
rubber.
worries me though is whether you've actually ended up with the brake blocks touching the rim just to slow them down a bit.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
Yeah, but look, they're almost on the rim.
Yeah, but they're This is Heath Robinson.
So the first time he goes down from Brixton Hill,
well, you see,
he'll lose 10 miles an hour.
You see, the original, which is taken off, goes through here. You see, and the cable's through in here. So we've had to take that off because we couldn't get out of there. But then you've got the.
I love it. Steering column.
And then you see the chain.
Oh my goodness, it is, you're right. That's a huge change.
Yeah, 3/16 pitch, you see. That's you see the back sprocket there. Then we've had to put them together. And
I think that's fabulous.
It's all ready to do the sparks. Do you want to just show you this, gentlemen? Come around this side. We've got the wheels, the piston at the right position for the ignition. So when we turn the ignition on, it sends a constant spark at that exactly ignition. You see? So just to give you an idea, there's this multiple sparks.
So the
Standing well clear.
the controls. Pink compressor.
Yes.
Advance and retard.
Yes. So fully retard to start.
Fully retard to start. Not quite right. There's switch here.
Blimey, yes.
Right. So the down is off.
Right.
So that's emergency stop. That's
Okay.
one way of stopping it.
Yep.
And that's off.
Okay.
So that's that handlebar.
Yep.
Front brake.
Okay.
Pretty useless.
Okay.
but everybody goes for it when they want to stop. You know, standard practice. And then the carburettor. The top lever is air.
Right.
Because what this is two concentric slides, effectively.
Right.
I've got them in the van, I'll show you them actually.
Yeah.
And what happens is, remember on the 279 AML cars, you used to have an air slide?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that is that, effectively.
Oh. Okay.
So what for starting? When it's cold, it's air fully down.
Right.
Okay. When it's warm and warm starting, it's about a third open.
Okay.
Now, between there and maximum air, you're adjusting the mixture.
Right.
So what happens, apparently, if you ride it with full air on, you end up with a very white lead plug.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the throttle, effectively. So that's the other slide.
So
now,
effectively, that's
I made one with
this is your twist
word. That's your choke. That's your twist.
That's right.
And it's not quite.
Like that, but you've got to twiddle them, you know. Technically, you know. And then we've got to work on this a bit more. Okay. There is also, and I've never used this yet, a back brake.
Okay.
And the other thing with it, you can't wheel it backwards because it locks the back wheel. So you've got to keep them forward all the time. Okay.
But then when you want to ride it,
okay. Now, yes. When you start, you literally, it works quite well actually, but I'm not perfect at it. I have to work more at it. But what you do is you walk with it when it fires. So you're fully retarded and you're on a very small amount of throttle and it's walking pace.
Right.
You then get yourself one leg on there and then foot over and advance the ignition.
So they used to pay Hollywood actors a fortune for doing this kind of stuff.
And idiots like us come and do it for nothing, as they say. I'm at present a big twixt and between. I tend to ride it with it fully advanced.
Okay, yes,
But a lot of people use the advance and retard to speed and slow it down. So in other words,
on cars,
it's the same thinking. But since I've remade the carb, this will now shut off.
Okay.
Which
you mean it didn't? So it wouldn't actually stop?
It'll stop.
Okay.
Actually stop.
And before it didn't?
Just ran it about half throttle.
Just so... so comforting.
Well, the thing, that's what I said to you.
I mean,
this is you.
You've explained to me how you get it going. How do you actually stop it?
Well,
will it stall, or do you just shut your secret button off?
That's my... For me, that was my emergency stop.
Yes.
But this, I just stop it on the throttle.
So pull it all the way
just
back
and
there,
it
and it will...
Just puts out.
Okay.
No chance. Getting down to Brighton quickly.
Those ones that marks there, it's been 2 sets. They're only small ones, they're rubber. They're in the box as well.
Be worth us having.
But it rides beautifully. It's gorgeous and it's really well geared, very smooth. It's the benefit of having slightly wider tyres on it. So compared to normal tyres that you have on your road bikes today, it's really really comfy. As long as I don't have to brake, I'm okay. Yeah, and no sharp corners. We don't want to do sharp corners.
Good afternoon, Ted.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So you're going to be involved in the London to Brighton VCC run, 5th of November, supporting John Bottomley and the Dreadnought. What will you be doing?
Well, my role will be to give John support, if he needs it, any time that he might have a difficulty along the route. I will be on my own motorbike, a 1951 BSA 350, which will enable me to move between point to point quite quickly.
And what do you anticipate having to do if there was to be an issue?
Well, if John has any difficulty with the bike, obviously if it's a plug change we can do that quite easily. But of course he might also have difficulty in some of the hills, in which case he might need an extra push to get over the summit.
Okay, and that's allowed as far as the rules and regulations are concerned?
As far as I'm
discretion.
aware, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's good. So what's your involvement been over the years with the motorcycle team?
Well, I've been a member of the motorcycle team here for 16 years. And over that time, of course, we used to go to various events in Madeira Park. So I've ridden bikes around there, and Brands Hatch, we used to go to Brands Hatch. So yes, I've ridden motorbikes that I could never afford to have ridden had they been my own property.
Yeah, so being a member of the motorcycle team is open doors.
Indeed.
Which you wouldn't have had opened elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's a good team?
Yeah, a very good team.
And you're meeting all sorts of different people whilst you're working on the bikes and...
Yes, I think once you've been a motorcyclist, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life. I'm 81 now, but I'm still quite happily riding motorcycles on the road, and I intend to continue doing it for as long as I can.
Which has been the most interesting bike to ride since you've been a member here?
Well, we used to have the Triumph here, that is now owned and in a Triumph collection. It was the supercharged Triumph that had been built pre-war. I think that was the most interesting.
So going back to the London to Brighton, do you need to be up at Hyde Park for 6-ish?
No, it isn't my intention to go to Hyde Park. What I will do is somewhere along the route, probably something like Croydon, because that's the first real hill that John will encounter. And I'll probably meet him at Croydon Airport. And take him up over that part of the A23.
On the Purley Way?
That's right.
Going south?
Yeah.
Fine, good. And what time would you anticipate that to be?
Well, I mean, provided he gets a good run, he should be leaving there somewhere before 7 o'clock at Hyde Park. And if he gets a good run down there, he could be there in half an hour.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And from there, how will you be able to pace him? Will you be able to ride your bike alongside him to a degree?
Well, I hope that obviously that we can use the same as the route that is marked for them. I can't imagine that the road will be closed. Obviously, I won't be in his way all the time. I have a fair knowledge of the lanes in Sussex, as I was actually born and bred in Brighton, so I do know my way around Sussex by the lanes.
Right. And have you been involved with the VCC run before? Have you done it before?
No.
Okay. So it's a new experience.
Indeed. Yeah.
Oh, we're looking forward to it, and the forecast is good.
Indeed, I am.
Thanks very much, Ted. That's great.
Okay.
David, so you're one of the 3 members of the support team for John Bottomley riding his Dreadnought on the VCC run.
That's correct, yes.
And how long have you been involved in the museum motorcycle team?
I've been involved in the museum for 6 years, more recently in the team for a couple of years, but my interest in motorcycling goes back many years, really.
So what are you getting out of being a member of the motorcycle team?
It's a good camaraderie. I mean, all of us have got motorbikes ourselves. It's just nice to kind of do something voluntarily and, play with old motorbikes, really.
Great. And so specifically with the VCC run,
What is your job title?
I don't know if I've got a job title. General dog's body. If the problem with the bike, we will try and fix it. And if John has any issues on the way, we've kind of come in following a parallel route, so we'll be able to assist at any time.
If John has a problem, how does he let you know?
Well, we're going to be monitoring him he's got a little app on his phone, so we know where he is. He'll have a phone. If he has to be stationary, he can ring us. If we see that he's not moving at all, we can obviously find out, what the problem is there. And as well as that, Ted, who you'll interview in a minute, will be probably following along fairly closely on an old motorway.
Fine, okay, so that's going to be going from Hyde Park down to Madeira Drive.
That's correct.
So there's an app which allows you to find out at any one time where he is or whether he's stationary.
Yeah, it's a bit like an Apple tag, I think. So basically, you'll have it on him, and on your phone, you'll be able to see where he is at any given time.
Okay, fine. So what do you anticipate to go wrong, if anything?
We're quite confident with the bike now. I mean, the only problem is if you have a puncture, it's going to be very difficult. He's going to struggle with the hills, so he might need some assistance getting up the hills. But that'd be the physical challenge, I think, rather than the machine. I think the machine's running quite nicely now.
Do you have any idea what his anticipated time will be?
I think his average speed is going to be about 20-25 mile an hour, so it's going to be taking at least 4 hours because you're going to have breaks and things, I would think.
So you could be there early afternoon?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a guess, really.
No, that's fine. So have you arranged any stops?
Well, there's the official stops that John will have to stop at, or can stop at. We will be monitoring every 10 miles. We're going to be stopping off near the route, so actually you can see how he's performing. So if he's got a problem, we can catch up with him then and help him get going, and then see him in the next 10 miles on. So we'll have about 5 stops en route.
And what difficulties are you going to have to get up to Hyde Park on Sunday morning? Are you local?
I'm fairly local. I'm going to be picked up, so we're kind of setting the alarm clock and being up there early in the morning. It's not much of an issue, really.
No, it's going to be fun though, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be fun. Yeah, really, I've never done this before, so it's enjoyable just to help John kind of achieve what he wants to do, really.
David, that's great. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you on the day.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, John.
Hello.
So you're one of the 3 who are going to be supporting John on the VCC run to Brighton on the 5th.
Yes.
So what's your direct involvement? What's your job, so to speak?
General dog's body, do a few repairs on the bike, things like that. I'm going to be driving the support vehicle, John's van, on the Saturday and the Sunday. David will be with me on the Sunday, and John's grandson Tom, who's not here today. We will be keeping up with John one way or another, meeting him when and where we can on the journey down, because you're not allowed to do this and that and the other, so we've got to be a bit sensible. We'll meet him halfway down, hopefully, and then at the end, hopefully, that he gets there all the way.
So you'll be seeing him off at 6:45 at Hyde Park. What time will you be meeting him up there? Sort of just after 6?
Oh, well, no, I'm going to be at John's on Saturday night, and we'll be leaving at about 5 in the morning to get to Hyde Park. Early enough so that he's plenty of time before he sets off at 6:45.
Fine.
6:45 again.
And when do you expect to meet up with him during the course of the journey?
We're not sure really. Depends on his rate of progress. I mean, that'll do. He reckons about 25, maybe 30 miles an hour. So with London and so on, it's going to be several hours to get to Brighton.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can keep pace with him, and I believe he's going to have a monitor on the bike that his grandson can keep an eye on. So we'll know roughly where he is, hopefully, as well.
At any one time?
Yes.
So you'll be able to see with his stationery or where he's actually moving?
Yeah, either that or it'll be ring, ring, hello, I'm in trouble.
If there is a weak spot in all this, what do you think it is?
Dare I say, the rider. No, the bike's a fantastic machine with a very checkered life as far as we can tell. Lots of odd things have been done to it, and over the previous few weeks we've put a lot of little things right and changed a few bits and pieces, and it's running very well at the moment, touch wood.
Did I hear there's some work taking place next Tuesday on the carburettor?
John's arranged for it to go on a dynamometer, like racing cars and so on. Not just to find out the power of it, but that'll also give him an idea of what the mixture's doing as well, because they can, with a probe, they can tell what's going on inside the engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, all sorts of information will come from that.
So it helps to just finesse the tuning of it?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Great. So John, your involvement with the motorcycle team, how long have you been here?
Oh, well, I've been a volunteer since about 2014.
Oh.
And I joined the motorcycle team in 2019 and been enjoying it ever since.
What do you get out of it? Why do you like to be here?
Oh, do we all love motorbikes? Number one, yes. Camaraderie, have a few, a bit of banter. Yes, it's a great social thing as well. Yeah.
And have you ridden any bikes within the team that you would never have been able to ride anywhere else?
Yeah, several bikes in the collection, really. Yeah.
Which has been the most memorable?
You mean the one I like the most? Yeah, would be best. Sadly, it's off the road today, but the OK Supreme.
Oh.
The lovely blue one.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. It's a lovely little bike to ride. Bearing in mind it's girder forks, rigid rear end and all that. In its own right, it would have been beautiful in the day, but it's still a joy to ride today.
Right.
Yeah.
John, so we're going to have a great day on Sunday, aren't we?
Oh, superb, yeah.
It's going to be quite an event, and yeah, looking forward to getting to Brighton and shaking everyone's hands. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it'll be dry, warm. We can only hope.
It's going to be great.
Yeah,
John, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
See you then.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
There we are with the Dreadnought on the dyno. Looking for any sort of a sign of brake horsepower we can get.
Maximum throttle. Yeah, just as if we'd started in the others. Yeah.
Getting ready for the big moment, the big start up. You can sense the tension.
Oh, blimey.
Once it's on the level,
yeah,
that might be an issue. So we'll check that in a minute.
Well, I don't know if that's full there.
Just a minute.
That is really full.
It's not full right up because it's on the stand.
I know. Well, I want to take it off the stand and see that it's not too full.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If we
pretty close.
Put that back on.
Oh, yes.
Put it on.
Don't want it all going blah blah blah.
How will it go?
Yes.
This is the new language, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is this fairly flat?
Did it go blah blah blah? So much.
Yeah, we can. I'll give you that. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you get front wheel up. Right.
Go a bit further.
I've got the bike.
That's it.
I had to push against the massive compression of the engine, you see.
Yeah, I thought so.
Right, well, I'll have to go out and go round and get out of the other shop.
Do you want me to put a hole in the road
Just
so you can get out
bloody
to it?
pipe, yeah. We're trying to put it in backwards, yeah?
Yeah. Try that.
Yeah. The post chair's getting tied up in it.
Just roll it back and I'll lift it.
Okay.
Oh,